Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope you all had a great weekend. Hope you all got a chance to kick back and get away from the charts so that you guys could refresh and get ready for this week. So we're back on Sunday night, ready to prepare for the week, and so we're going to go over the weekly outlook for NQ and ES. If you like these weekly outlook videos, drop a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet already. Also, be sure to check out the link in the description below for a bunch of free, valuable content. So, with that said, let's jump right into the NQ. So we had a pretty nasty sell-off last week. We hit all-time highs the previous week, and especially with the election wrapping up, we did get a pullback, which is expected. We can't keep going up forever, but so we're going to start looking at some of these levels and where we bounced at the end of last week. Right now, we're going to jump over to NQ, and I'll start with the weekly chart actually. So the weekly chart is we had the pretty big red candle last week, as you can see, and right now we're actually up in the Asia session. So we'll see what happens in the morning. But something to note is that if we go down to the daily time frame or anything even lower, we want to take a look at where we actually bounced at. Maybe I'll go to the 1 hour instead, which is actually a lot more clear. One of the biggest things I do in terms of Fibonacci levels is actually I pay attention to the 0.707 level. This is a key level where typically after it goes beyond the golden pocket area where normally traders will look at 0.618 and 0.65, I actually like 0.707 as the bounce level, and I've backtested this plenty of times. I predicted it plenty of times. Took a lot of plays on these bounces, so it has worked out very well. So 20,402, which was pretty much spot on of where it bounced at late Friday. At the same time, this was actually a 4 hour fair value gap that we can see right here. We actually wicked below the consequent encroachment and bounced back up. So this is a good support level with two different confluences between the Fibonacci level as well as this fair value gap. So what I want to look at is usually when we are looking at movements of price, we want to look at external range liquidity to internal range liquidity. When we are going into fair value gaps, that's really rebalancing price action, right? And that's also considered as internal range liquidity. But when we are looking for external range liquidity, which would be usually the next move, our external range liquidity and that lower high, right, isn't all the way up until this 21 190 level, right? It's pretty high up. So we need to retrace back, and we need to really build some support and some structure here before being able to go all the way back up. We are below the daily EMAs. This green one's the daily 9 EMA, and this cyan one's the daily 21 EMA. But we do have some fair value gaps, bearish fair value gaps that we need to rebalance. Most notably is this 20,747, 745 level, right? This is a fairly large bearish fair value gap that we need to rebalance, but we now move down to a slightly lower time frame to the 1 hour. We can see that we're starting to put in some of these inverse fair value gaps. We mitigated this bearish fair value gap here, and we put a bullish one here. Right, so we are building some structure that is bullish. I would like to see some more structure down here, and a lot of this structure can be developed overnight, so we don't know what's the market's going to look like. But for the weekly bias and daily bias, really, all right, I am looking towards the upside where we want to rebalance this key area and also hit the daily 21 EMA and daily 9 EMA on NASDAQ. All right, and something to note, if we go back to more of a macro level, I want to see what kind of big events are coming up, right? So we don't really have too much up until Thursday when we have initial jobless claims, and then we have some PMI on Friday. The following week is Thanksgiving, so there might be some slowdown on activity, but probably not too much. There's usually a lot more slowdown when we go into the Christmas time frame. And then now just looking at one more thing, which is I usually go to Earnings Whisperer, which provides a very nice graphical representation of what earnings are coming up. And so let's just take a quick look to see which ones are of note. So Monday, we really don't have anything. Tuesday, we have some components of the Dow, right, like Walmart, Lowe's. We have Chinese automaker Xpeng. Other than that, not too much, but Wednesday is definitely the big day, right? We have NEO, Target, Nvidia, Snowflake, Palo Alto. These are very, very big market drivers, obviously, especially NVIDIA. Snowflake, I have been watching for potential upside, so I might even play that for earnings. Neo is completely decimated, and Target is pretty high up, and it's pretty good quality stock. But either way, I think most of the market's going to be looking for NVIDIA as that key driver for direction for where the market's going to head. All right, so now if we take a look back at ES, let's just take a look at what our levels are. All right, we have this level previously, which was a lower high back at the 58.93 level. It also coincided with a little bit of demand right here and also a fair value gap. But we did breach this, mitigate it, and we swept liquidity. But you have to think that this is that same level where we balanced that on the 0.707 Fibonacci on NASDAQ. We are holding the daily 21 EMA right here. We do have the upside target of the daily 9 EMA, and we are currently rebalancing this bearish fair value gap. We did reject this consequent encroachment right here, and I believe this is the 4-hour. Yep, this is the 4-hour consequent encroachment, and I usually do 4-hour, 15-minute, and 1-minute as my time frame alignment. So I do like the structure that's building right now. So really in conjunction with how NASDAQ is presenting itself in terms of price action as well as ES, this does look fairly bullish, at least for the short term. We do need to pull back in terms of going to upside to rebalance things. And then the one other thing that I did notice, if we go to I think I want to say, yeah, this wick right here, we go to a 1 hour time frame. It's a little bit easier to see. It's not too much to note because it's kind of far apart. But if we were to look at this wick right here, this wick down here, right? Let me just draw this one, and then it would be this one right here, right? So these two wicks is creating a divergence, SMT divergence between ES and NQ, right? We can see that this is considered a higher low, and this is also a higher low, but look at where this higher low is relative to our bounce. So if I draw a trend line, and same thing for NQ, right? We are creating divergence between the two, and it's just something to note. It's not that extensive because it's not much structure. It's really just a wick, but it's something that I notice. And when we see divergence at the bottom side, it's usually a sign of a bullish scenario where we can rally up higher. But again, it's just a wick, so I'm not paying too much attention to it as much as I am the fair value gap that got rebalanced, as well as that 0.707 Fibonacci level. All right, so that's all. That's all for this video. I am bullish. We'll see what happens in the morning when the overnight sessions play out with Asia and London. As always, on Mondays and Fridays, I will be live streaming. I have a lot of extra valuable content in the description in the link below, with a free Discord, some other valuable my socials and things like that. So check it out. If you didn't already, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. So have a good week. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.